Hi, my name is Jeremy, and I'm the Geeky Artist on Etsy. I first want to thank you for purchasing my digital collage sheet. This tutorial is for Photoshop Element users. If you have GIMP, you can also watch this tutorial. It's basically the same thing. However, I do have a tutorial made specifically for GIMP users. The first thing we want to do is we want to open up your purchase template. As you can see, I already have mine opened up. If you don't know how to open yours up yet, you'll just go to File and then Open, and then choose your desired template. I chose the 1-inch circles for this demonstration. And once you have that opened, you're going to notice a few things on the right hand side. On the right hand side, we have the layers panel, and we have two layers that make up our template. The first one is labeled as Put Your Images Above This. The second one is labeled as Put Your Images Below This. So basically, just as it implies, everything that we're going to add to our template sheet to make our finished product is going to go between those two layers. Think of it as a sandwich, if you will. And the template is the bun. We're going to put all the good stuff in the middle. So let's get started with that. The first thing we want to do is we want to open our desired image. What do we want to put in the circle? What are we trying to sell? What do we need to make into that 1-inch circle or 2-inch circle, whatever it may be, whatever template you're using. To do that, I'm just going to go to File and Open, and I'm going to go track down a image real quick. Let's just go into birds. I'm going to use this bird. So I want to use this image of this bird, and I want to put the bird in the 1-inch circle. Now, how am I going to do that? That's a good question. The first thing I'm going to do is I need to get this image over to the template. So how do we do that? I'm glad you asked. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste this image over onto a new layer. This is how. The first thing we need to do is select this image. We need to select the entire image. So you can do this one of two ways. We can do Control A, and you can tell the whole image is selected by the marquee border, or marching ants as I like to call it, going around the outside of the image. That's letting you know that we have it selected. Another way that you can do it is by going up to the top menu bar and going under Select and choosing All. And as you can see, we now have our marching ants again. Now, we need to copy this image to our clipboard. The clipboard is an invisible holding area, if you will, for things we want to transfer to different places. And I'm sure if you've used a lot of word processing software, you're very familiar with this. But for those of you that aren't, I'm going to take this pretty slow. Alright, so we have the image selected. Now we want to copy it. We can do this also one of two ways. By holding down Control and pressing C, or we can go to Edit in the menu bar and choose Copy. Now, you're not going to really notice anything, because like I said before, it's held in an invisible holding area, waiting for us to put it wherever we'd like. So, at the top, let's click on our Template tab, and the next thing we need to do is we need to make a new layer that our bird image or whatever image you may be using is going to go on. So let's highlight Put Images Above This. Let's highlight our bottom layer, and then down in the bottom left hand corner you're going to see a little folded sheet of paper. If you put your cursor over it, it will let you know that this is how you create a new layer, a blank layer. So let's go ahead and click that, and it will be labeled Layer 1. And it's just a transparent layer. It's invisible, so to speak. Now, we want to paste our bird image, or whatever image you may be using, onto this layer. How do we do that? One of two ways. We can hold down Control and hit P. Oh, excuse me. We can hold down Control and hit V, and that pastes it. Or we can go to Edit and go to Paste. Now, you'll see our image here. If you select the Move tool, which is our first little icon in the toolbar, it's denoted by the 4-way directional arrow. If you put your cursor over to say Move tool, you can make sure you have layer 1 selected, and then you can, well, if it will stay selected, and then you can just move it around. Click on the image and move it around. Now, I'm going to drag this up to the top a little bit, and I'm going to zoom in. And I'm going to zoom in by hitting the letter Z, and then I'm going to go with Fill Screen. And then I'm going to have to scroll up a little bit because it's zoomed in nice and tight. And click my Move tool again so that I can move it around. Now, we have the image up here in our first circle. So what we need to do is we need to make a square peg fit in a round hole. How do we do that? I'm going to show you how. It's not as hard as you would think. The first thing we need to do is we need to resize the photo of the bird. It's a little too large. I mean, we need to get it as close as we can to what we want before we make it a circle. So how we do that? We hold down Control and press T. Or you can go to Image in the menu bar, go to Transform, and choose Free Transform. Now once you hit Control T or go to Image and Free Transform, basically once you start transforming the image, this is what it's going to look like. You're going to have a check and a cancel icon. And basically once we get done moving the image, we can just hit cancel if we don't like it, or we can hit check that we want to leave it that way. Now, a real big tip. If you hold down Alt and grab the handles and just move it in, you'll notice that the image stays very proportional. So I'm just going to shrink it down a little bit, and I'm going to hit the plus sign, or excuse me, the check mark, and I'm just going to move the picture up a little bit, and it's still too large. So I'm going to hit Control T again, press down Alt, and I'm going to move it in some more. Check mark, and whoop, moving the whole thing again. Make sure we have layer 1 selected inside the box. Now, common mistake, I've made it too small. So I'm just going to kind of place it, Control T, holding Alt down, I'm going to drag it out a little larger. A little bit more. Just to give me a little breathing room. Hit the check mark, and I'm going to move the image over a little bit. Perfect. Okay. Now, as you can see, we can still see that the image is square behind the template. And you can even see some of the original photos sticking out into this circle. And I'm going to show you how to get rid of that. The first thing we need to do is we need to get your elliptical marquee tool. Chances are it appears first as a square. If you look over here on your toolbar, you'll see a little marching ants box. It'll either be a square or a circle. Either way, all you have to do to change it is just right click and then go to the elliptical. Now we want to make a circle that's just slightly larger than the circle that we're trying to fill. In this case, it's our bird circle. We're trying to fill that circle with our bird photo. So we want to make this circle just a little bit larger than that. And how do we do that? I'm going to start by going a little bit further out and a little bit higher than our original circle. Left clicking and just dragging down. You'll notice that it goes longer. It doesn't look just quite perfect, but it's okay. I know I got plenty of room on the left, plenty of room below, so I'm just going to stop right there. Click right in the middle of the circle with the elliptical marquee tool still selected, and I can just move it around. Bingo, right there. Plenty of room still between the two circles. It leaves me a little bit of leeway there after I duplicate our first circle to make more. A little bit of error to adjust. So now that I have my circle selected, I'm going to go up to the top to select, and I'm going to choose inverse. And what this is going to do is it's going to select everything outside of the circle, because we don't want the rest of the layer. We just want that circle. And now all we have to do is press delete. Bam. No problem. Now all we have is a circle of the bird that we've selected ourselves. It's a little bit slightly larger than the circle, so if I wanted to still go in and choose my move tool with layer 1 selected, I can still move it around a little bit. As you can see, it's still a circle. So if I wanted to drag it up a little bit or move it over a little bit, I still can. I'm going to put it right there. That looks about good for me. Now, if I want to fill the rest of these circles, we have 5 total circles on this sheet. If I want to fill the rest of these circles up, this is how you do it. I come over to layer 1, right click it, and choose duplicate layer. Now, it's going to ask me to rename it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it circle 2. I'm going to choose my move tool, and whenever you duplicate something, it's immediately put on top of the one you duplicated it from. So in this case, we duplicated layer 1, which I'm going to name circle 1. We duplicated circle 1. So circle 2 is just setting exactly on top of circle 1. With our move tool selected, we can just hold down the left click and drag it over, straight over. Bam. I can go here, highlight circle 2, duplicate layer, name it circle 3, move tool selected, drag over, make sure it's the same as the others. Again, duplicate layer, circle 4. There we go. Right click, duplicate layer, and circle 5. Drag it over. There we go. So there's our first row of birds. Now, if you want to go even further, the best thing to do would be to go back to circle 1, or excuse me, go to circle 5, right click, duplicate layer, and let's call this row 2 circle 1, or you can just call it circle 6. I'm just going to go, I named it row 6. Let's just do row 2 circle 1. Now, since we duplicated it using circle 5, we need to drag the image down and all the way over to circle 1. Voila. Now, all we have to do is duplicate this. Duplicate layer, row 2 circle 1. We're going to change that to row 2 circle 2. Drag it over. Duplicate. Just quick backslash, circle 3. And let's just do 2 more. I'm not going to do all of these just for time's sake. Circle 4. I still need to show you a few more things. I don't want to make this too long. I know you want to get you straight to using your template. So I'm going to do circle 5. Bam. Okay. Now, as you notice, put your images below this is on the very top. Put your images above this is on the very bottom. So we've done exactly that. We've kept all of the good stuff right in the middle. Now, just a quick little thing just to show you that we can add another picture. With row 2 circle 5 selected, I'm going to go to File, I'm going to go to Open, and I'm going to choose another bird here. Let's choose this guy. Okay, so same thing, Control A, Control C. That's going to highlight it and copy it. I'm going to go back to our template. With row 2 circle 5 selected, I'm going to choose the Create New Layer, and that puts a new layer there. And I'm going to Control V and paste it. Now, We pasted it over top of row 2, circle 5. So now what we need to do, we just need to drag it down. There we go, we have it. It's down here. So I'm just going to rename it to row 3, circle 1. Now what do we need to do? We need to resize it to fit in circle 1. Control T, holding down the Alt button, drag it in a little bit, hit the check mark. Oop. Gotta make sure I'm clicking on the right thing here. There we go, right there. Now what's the next step we do? That's right, we get our elliptical marquee tool, and we want to make it the circle slightly larger than our other circle. So I'm going to make this side a little bit smaller so I can kind of equal it out by dragging it over. There we go. And now what am I going to do? Select inverse and then press delete. You might not be able to see much of a change, but trust me, we deleted all that square around the circle. If we hadn't, as you can see here, when I move it over, you can see that it is a circle. It's completely a circle. But if I hadn't done that, you would have had a square. Let me just undo. Oh. Let's just undo it. There we go. If I just drag it over, you'll see it's a square. So if I was to drag it like this, and it really, if it was a bigger image, it would be more of a problem. You would have a lot more bleed, kind of like we did with the first circles. But with this one, it's not too much of a problem. But I still like to do it just because I like to keep everything the right way. So I'm going to get this again real quickly. Drag that out. Delete. Oh. Select inverse. So that's what happened. When I didn't select inverse and press delete, I deleted everything inside that circle. So I have to undo that. Select inverse, delete. Now I deleted everything outside of it. So I right click on row 3 circle 1, duplicate layer, row 3 circle 2, drag it over, and there we go. Now for time's sake, I'm not going to do a few rows of this. I'm just going to show you how you can print it. So let's go, I'm going to press Z and then I'm going to go fit screen so you can see what we had started. Now you need to flatten the image to print it. So we're going to go to layer, all the way at the bottom, flatten image. Voila, it's completely flat. You don't get to see any of the other circles, just the ones that we've worked on. When you flatten the image, it takes away all the transparency. Now you go to File, Save As, and then you can name it whatever you want. Bird collage sheet, or multi-bird collage sheet, depending on how many birds I used. You know, something I would name it, and then you can just print it just like that. Now a good thing to note is, if you go to File and you choose Save, you're going to save over your template. The best thing to do is always either do File, Save As, or before you open the template, make a duplicate of it and then open the duplicate so that there's no danger of saving over your template. If you do happen to save over your template, no problem, just shoot me an email and I will resend you the template. You know, for as long as I am still doing this, basically. I have no problems with helping anyone out. I just need to pull up your order to verify, you know, which sheet you did order, and then I'll send that, you know, to you right away. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any problems, suggestions, or comments, please don't hesitate to email me or call me. I'll be more than happy to walk you through absolutely anything I can. Custom sizes, if you need custom sizes, custom shapes, Scrabble tile sizes, different circles, different squares, hearts, whatever, get in touch with me. I can do you anything you need, any custom template you need, I can do it. Scrapbooking pages, anything. So once again, I want to thank you, and my name is Jeremy, and I am the Geeky Artist.